Chill out. We'll get you to the game. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere. All right. Start the music.
This one likes to go by, I'm a woman now, Mrs. Garrett. $1,000 at stake on this one. Okay, all the girls on the Facts of Life were pretty virginal. Well, until that little Natalie episode. But tell me, which of the Facts of Life girls could best be described as viraginous? Jo, Natalie, Blair, or Tootie? A viraginous woman tends to behave in a stereotypically masculine manner. And I'll tell you something, all the other girls were relieved when Jo stopped using the sink as a urinal. This little number's known as dictionary. Is that like the thing with words and stuff? Get it right, I'm handing over 2K. Alright, listen up! Scared ya? Okay, tell me, what's the most appropriate answer to this question? Have you ever seen one of those upside-down E things in the dictionary pronunciation key? I maybe show a one. Who wants to know? Sure, I saw some. Yes, I think I schwa one once or twice. Or, yeah, I seen one. Why? Uh-huh. Them upside-down E things are called schwas, and they indicate a neutral vowel occurring usually in an unstressed syllable. Whatever that means. The category? The little 17th century philosopher that could. Looks like this one's going for $1,000. Let's rock. If the little engine that could became a student of French philosopher René Descartes, which mantra would make the best replacement for I think I can, I think I can? I think of class, I think of class, I think I am, I think I am, I think of ham, Sam I am, or God is dead, God is dead. See ya. Let's take a look at the right answer. Descartes is responsible for the famous quote, I think, therefore I am. Unfortunately, it's sort of a passive mindset for a locomotive. Coming at you. A group of ants marching under the table and dreaming. How does $2,000 sound? Hey, do you own the Dave Matthews Band album Crash? I do. If the Dave Matthews Band had named their album after the group of animals collectively known as a crash, what would it have been called? A group of chicks, a group of rhinos, a group of lions, or a group of frogs? A group of rhinos is called a crash. And a group of Dave Matthews fans is called a frat. See how this all comes together? Let's see what we got going. Look, Krug find lipstick. $2,000 for a correct answer. Hey, do you remember the Clan of the Cave Bear? You know that movie where Daryl Hannah's a cave dweller with her personal makeup artist? Well, if the Clan of the Cave Bear took place in the cave of Lascaux, what primitive dialogue would you most likely hear?
Dwarf hide with French resistance. Grog dig limestone for Romans. Crab paint self-portrait.
Or
Groove study insects.
In 1940, 14,000-year-old cave paintings were discovered in the cave of Lascaux, France. Hey, you sit me in a cave with Daryl Hannah in a fur loincloth, and I'd want to capture that image somehow, too. Well, looks like this category is, I've got 3 balls. Play your cards right, you win $4,000. Okay, you're going to need to roll up your sleeves here because we're going to play in some celebrity trash. So buzz in and tell me whose trash we're into. All right, let's see. There's an old wooden tennis racket, a bunch of Wimbledon titles, a 1973 parking ticket stub from the Astrodome, and a runner-up's trophy from the Battle of the Sexes. Whose trash is this? Vitas Gerulaitis, Bobby Riggs, Billie Jean King, or Martina Navratilova? Billie Jean King? Oh, so close. She would have all of these things in her trash except for the trophy. Hers would be a winner's trophy. Nice try, loser. See, now, I could have given you some cash if you picked this. Bobby Riggs. He came out of retirement to show that a middle-aged man could beat the world's best female tennis player. Only one problem. He forgot to win. This one's called How Dirty Harry Got Dirty. And get this one right, you got 4K coming your way. Hey, wake up! up! All right. You know that Clint Eastwood movie, Escape from Alcatraz? They actually filmed it on Alcatraz Island in San Francisco Bay. Gosh. If Clint Eastwood makes a sequel to Escape from Alcatraz called Escape from Leavenworth, what scene would we most likely see? Clint hiding in a Kansas cornfield? Clint running from a chain gang in Georgia? Clint climbing a sequoia in Washington? Or Clint swimming in the Hudson in New York? Oh, that's ugly. Bet you wish you'd pick this. Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary is just outside of Leavenworth, Kansas.
Okay, we're all getting out of this nothing state. Sure, Toto, you and Dorothy too.
And I believe this one's called Shannon Tweed's History Lesson. 4,000 big ones for a right answer here. Hey, who says you can't learn anything from watching late-night cable? If actress Shannon Tweed were to star in the made-for-cable biography of historical figure Boss Tweed, what would viewers see her doing? Bribing politicians and baring her breasts? Starting a union and baring her breasts? Smuggling jewels and baring her breasts? Or spying and baring her breasts? Now, if Shannon's past work is any indication, she'd be much more comfortable snuggling jewels. In case you're wondering, Boss Tweed ran the Tweed Ring, a corrupt New York political machine in the early 19th century. But you know, if Shannon ran for political office, she'd be naked 15 minutes into the campaign. May I introduce, that's why we invented calculators. Get a right answer, you're walking away with $4,000. Just step up and take a swing at this one. Say Fred Flintstone uses his fingers and toes to count the times he said, "Hey, Wilma!" How high can he count before he runs out of digits? 12, 14, 16, or 20? No, that's how high you would be able to count. Then again, maybe not. Hey, got a minute? Take a look at a right answer. All the folks in Bedrock have 4 fingers on each hand and 3 toes on each foot. Yeah, I always knew Fred Flintstone was some sort of evolutionary freak. Open wide and get ready for hangovers, now worse than ever. And you pocket $2,000 if you get this one. Okay, we've all had cottonmouth, right? The late night drinking, waking up the next morning with that pasty, dry mouth. Well, imagine this. After getting drunk one night, you wake up with a cottonmouth. What best describes the events of the night before? You went home with a poisonous snake, you contracted a disease from the bartender, you're sleeping with a harmonica player, or whoever it was left you flowers. Cottonmouth is another name for the extremely deadly water moccasin. But hey, it's not the first time you got drunk and woke up with some snake in your bed, right? With The Rules, the sequel. $2,000 says you don't know this one. Okay, you know how they say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach? Well, suppose you start at a man's stomach and work directly toward the heart. What will you probably run into along the way? The liver, the appendix, the bladder, or the epiglottis? Here's what you should have picked. The liver and the stomach are right next to each other, so you might bump into it on your way up to the heart. I don't get this saying. The way to my heart is through my stomach? That's ridiculous. Who thought...
Cookie, the delivery guy is here.
Oh, cool. Where's my franchise? Okay, give it up for one sure way to win the swimsuit competition. $2,000 for a correct answer. Finally, the truth can be told. Here's why they made such a big deal about finally allowing Miss America contestants to wear bikinis. Considering the origin of the name bikini, what might Miss America pageant organizers have feared from contestants wearing bikinis? Celebrity judges getting a rare disease, a revolt led by Miss Hawaii, atomic blast vaporizing Atlantic City, or really bad TV ratings? Let's take a look at the right answer. The bikini got its name from a series of 1946 atomic tests held in the Bikini Islands in the South Pacific. Yeah, I saw the bikinis at last year's pageant. Man, talk about your mushrooming effect. The category is Live from the Sidelines, the Fashion Report. You get 4,000 clams for this one. Let's see if you can wrap your head around this. What piece of J.Crew clothing could you purchase to wear while competing in a crew event? Oxblood soccer cleats, forest green rowing gloves, goldenrod polo jodhpurs, or a heather and tangerine rugby jersey? Let's take a look at the right answer. Crew is the term for team rowing events. Of course, you can always fashion some rowing gloves out of the pages of the hundreds of J.Crew catalogs they send me each year. Here, 1,000 acres, 4,000 big ones for a right answer here. Flex those fingers, 'cause here it comes. Imagine a new King Lear with sisters named Fannie Mae, Ginny Mae, and Sally Mae. Given what these corporations do, what would these sisters most likely do? Scrabble for car loans and GI Bills, quarrel over polluted air and water, fight over mortgages and student loans, or argue about welfare and food stamps? Here's what you should have picked. Fannie Mae is an acronym for the Federal National Mortgage Association, Ginny Mae the Government National Mortgage Association, and Sally Mae is the Student Loan Marketing Association.
Nothing will come of nothing. Unless you infuse the markets with fresh money, then you got something.
Oh, serving. When your general's a pregnant amnesia victim. $2,000 says you don't know this one. Put your tray in the upright position. It's time for takeoff. Say CBS pits the young and the restless against the bold and the beautiful in a huge soap war. Because it's also a famous book about war, what could they name the battle? The cold and the hungry, the mortal and the mighty, the naked and the dead, or the Nazis and the not-so-nasties? The correct answer is... Norman Mailer wrote The Naked and the Dead about World War II soldiers in the Pacific. And you know, I read the book and I saw the movie and the only nudity was with the dead people. It's just not my thing. Question is, all that glitters is not Liberace, and it's worth $2,000 if you get this one right. Okay, you've heard about 3 million Liberace jokes, right? Well, his lavish clothing and shows got a lot of criticism, from which Liberace claimed to cry all the way to the bank. Instead of crying all the way to the bank, imagine Liberace responded to critics with a cliché which reflected his fabulous set design. What would he most likely say? I hate to burst your bubble, that's just sour grapes. Pull your head out of the sand. Or, you can't hold a candle to me. See, now, I could have given you some cash if you picked this. Because Liberace always had a candelabra on top of his piano, he might tell critics they can't hold a candle to him. I hope not. Those outfits shouldn't get too close to an open flame. Shake hands with. Don't worry, be spazzy. And you pocket $2,000 if you get this one. Hey, remember that Don't Worry, Be Happy guy, Bobby McFerrin? You know how he made music by beating himself? Because they also were fond of beating themselves, with which historical group would Bobby McFerrin have felt most at home? The Beatniks, the Existentialists, the Flagellants, or the Rockettes? Bet you wish you'd pick this. In the Middle Ages, the Flagellants were a bunch of religious freaks who beat themselves for sinning. It kind of be a vicious circle for Bobby. He makes a really annoying song, so he beats himself for sinning, which makes another really annoying song, so he beats himself again. Get ready for, is he related to Wang Chung? $2,000 for a correct answer. All right, time for a quick grammar refresher. Oh, don't you just love those grammar refreshers? They smell just like pine. Anyway, pay attention to this. Wang Lo, the dancing Chinese chimpanzee, enjoyed a banana. Which of these words contains a schwa sound? Wang Lo, Chinese, chimpanzee, or banana? Duh. The schwa sound is the sound in the word banana, which actually has two schwa sounds in it. Ba-nan-a. Say hello to, and you look like one too. Get it right, I'm handing over 2K. Think fast. Considering its origin, which word should a true atheist never utter? Goodbye, nice, love, or hello? Goodbye comes from the phrase, God be with you. Which is probably why it's so hard to get an atheist off the phone. One likes to go by disappearing Dreyfus and other unsolved mysteries. How does $4,000 grab you? Just step up and take a swing at this one. Considering Richard Dreyfuss's character actually enters the UFO in the end of the movie, what would be a more appropriate title for Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Close Encounters of the First Kind, Close Encounters of the Second Kind, Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind, or Close Encounters Type 6B? Should have picked this. According to UFO expert J.A. Hynek's scale, an interaction like the one Dreyfuss's character has is the fourth kind. And who knows, perhaps inside the spaceship he met a nice alien girl and had a close encounter of the fifth kind. This little number's known as, I'm wearing my former co-star! Play your cards right, you win $4,000. Hollywood's tough. One day you're a big star, the next you're a wardrobe. Which of these characters could be ground up and made into a rayon shirt? Pinocchio, the Thing from the Fantastic Four, the Tin Woodsman, or Chucky from Child's Play? The Tin Woodsman? Well, not unless you don't mind a bad case of tetanus. Here's what you should have picked. Rayon is made from chemically treated wood pulp. Of course, it would be hard to decide what size to buy, what with the constant shrinking and growing. The category? Give him 3 months and he'll take off the weight. And get this one right, you got 4K coming your way. Heads up, here it comes. Which Shakespearean character promises quick weight loss without dieting or exercise? Macbeth, Shylock, Hamlet, or Othello? No, Macbeth can't help with weight loss, but he does have a psychic connection. Bet you wish you'd pick this. Shylock is the loan shark from Merchant of Venice who offers to take a pound of flesh in exchange for money. Coming at you, Kramer cubed. 4,000 big ones for a right answer here. Let's see how you handle this one. If the Kramers in Kramer vs. Kramer fought for the custody of Kramer from Seinfeld, what wacky situation would end the film? Kramer residing with Dustin Hoffman, Kramer falling off the teeter-totter, Kramer seeing Meryl Streep naked, or Mr. Drummond seeing Kramer on weekends?
I told you not to do that!
For the curious, here's the right answer. In Kramer vs. Kramer, Meryl Streep wins the custody battle in court, but agrees to allow her son to remain with Dustin Hoffman. Yeah, I guess Dustin's biggest challenge as a father would be in teaching Kramer to knock before entering. Let's see what we got going. B. Arthur, the burning bush of 70s TV. Get a right answer, you're walking away with $4,000. So you've heard that self-help phrase, take an attitude of gratitude, right? If B. Arthur gets a talk show where she talks about the attitude of Beatitude, which of these will she say? Blessed are the Mauds, and then there's Maud. Maud is my shepherd, or I am the Maud, you're Maud.
You'll want to put some ice on that.
In case you're wondering, the Beatitudes are those phrases in the Sermon on the Mount that start, Blessed are the...
Blessed are the poor, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the sitcoms, for they shall live forever in syndication.
Category is, makes no difference if you're black or tan, and it's worth $2,000 if you get this one right. Say, do you know anybody who still has a black and white TV set? Some people insist on watching TV the hard way. Say you have a black and tan TV set. Based on things that are called black and tans, which of the following can you not be watching? A British soldier in Ireland, a hunting dog, a mixture of beers, or a sunfish with dark spots? Oh yeah, that's really wrong. Should have picked this. The only one of these things that isn't called a black and tan is the sunfish with dark spots. That's a black crappie. And if you're watching a black crappie, it looks like you've confused the TV with the fish tank again. Is known as live XXX naked girls on a radio near you. And you pocket $2,000 if you get this one. Hey, I miss the golden days of radio as much as the next guy, but which of the following acts was regularly featured on radio? A ventriloquist show with Edgar Bergen, a silent show with Charlie Chaplin, a magic show with Harry Houdini, or a mime show with Marcel Marceau? Edgar Bergen provided the voice for his dummy Charlie McCarthy, and believe it or not, the two once had a radio show. I'm also a master ventriloquist. Watch.
Hello, my name is Peebo.
Say hello to dreams are technicolor embarrassments. Get it right, I'm handing over 2K. Think fast. Considering the city where Freud did most of his major work, which image would his homesick unconscious mind most likely produce? A Vienna sausage nestled in a bun? A poodle reeking of cologne? The train to Prague entering a tunnel? Or a nude man being ground in a hamburger? I'm shaking my head right now. In case you're wondering, Freud did his major work in Vienna, including the writing of Interpretation of Dreams. Me, I've been dreaming about being massaged by this giant moist pink hand. Well, my analyst thinks it's funny. Quiet and get ready for He, She, and the Unspeakable It. You get 4,000 clams for this one. Let's rock. He's broaching. She's reaching. Oh, now they're both luffing. What are they doing? Sailing, enjoying the Kama Sutra, baking, or playing badminton? Broaching, reaching, and luffing are all sailing terms. But with the pounding of the waves and the rhythmic up and down motion of the boat, who can blame them for wanting to do a little broaching? Victorian Secrets. How does $4,000 grab you? Okay, I was scanning the personals the other day. Hey, shut up, like you've never taken a look through there. Okay, and I found one that sounded pretty interesting. Here it is. Single white female loves writing poetry, looking for single white male with similar interests. How much could I love you? I'm counting the ways already. Who placed this personal ad? Christina Rossetti, Mary Shelley, Elizabeth Barrett, or Emily Dickinson? Death is a wrong answer. Should have picked this. Elizabeth Barrett, who wrote the line, "How do I love thee, let me count the ways," married the poet Robert Browning. How many ways did that come out to, anyway? Now serving. Truth is less interesting than soap operas. Better wake up, there's $6,000 at stake. Hey, what if Dawson's Creek actually took place in Dawson Creek? Considering where the real Dawson Creek is, which organization would most likely offer Dawson an after-school job? The Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the French Foreign Legion, or Scotland Yard? Dawson Creek is in British Columbia, and so are the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So stay tuned for a special episode where Dawson has to untie Joey from tracks before the train comes. Ooh, scary. Shake hands with. Let's not spend the night together. Play your cards right, you win $4,000. Put your tray in the upright position. It's time for takeoff. In the Rolling Stones concert film Gimme Shelter, from what could the audience in the film use a little shelter themselves? An earthquake, crazed Hell's Angels, Tom Jones' guest appearance, or a hurricane?
The lights are on, but nobody's home.
See, now, I could have given you some cash if you pick this. Gimme Shelter shows the ill-fated Stones concert at Altamont where the Hells Angels that were hired for security go nuts and start whacking people. Hells Angels for security. Brilliant idea, guys. How come you didn't get the Manson family to cater? This little number's known as, you should have gone before we left. And get this one right, you got 4K coming your way. Hey, did you ever notice how Florida looks like a big penis on North America? I know, I'm like 12 years old. Well, if Florida really were a penis, where would you expect the Urethra Highway to run? Circling around in the Panhandle, around the Keys, the length of the entire state, or connecting the Gulf and the Atlantic? The male urethra carries fluids the length of the penis. See, that's why the Gulf of Mexico is so warm. Here he is. 2 tons of codpiece crushing power. 4,000 big ones for a right answer here. Hey, if there's one thing I know, it's that no one appreciates Shakespeare more than the owners of monster trucks. Which of these monster trucks shares its name with a Shakespearean fool? Executioner, Barefoot, Gravedigger, or Bigfoot? The Gravedigger is the morbid fool from Hamlet.
I be but a gravedigger, yet my socks be custard coilovers and my tranny be a Turbo 400, so who the hell called me fool?
The category? Major, what the ping do you think you're ponging? $2,000 for a correct answer. Just step up and take a swing at this one. Suppose we renamed all games the way ping pong got its name. What would we most likely call golf? Tiger Tuger, 2T, Thwap Whiz Plunk, or PGA? Well, this is going to be a buzzkill. Balls in your court, player 2. Hey, got a minute? Take a look at a right answer. Parker Brothers named ping pong after the noise the game makes, so we could call golf Thwap Whiz Plunk. Of course, we could also name it Thwap Whiz Thud. Thwap Whiz Plunk. Enjoyment. Cold-blooded cuisine. $2,000 says you don't know this one. Think fast. Which of these is an actual place? Frog Lick, Indiana, Snake Slurp, Missouri, Toadsuck, Arkansas, or Tasty Turtle, Tennessee? Player 1. No, you're thinking of French Lick, Indiana, and if you want to French lick a frog, well, that's your business. Balls in your court, player 2. Snake Slurp, Mo. Snake Slurp, no! In case you're wondering, Toadsuck, Arkansas is a place not too far from Little Rock, Arkansas. Little Rock and Toadsuck. Hey, I guess if you live in Arkansas, you gotta do something to keep yourself amused. Analogy question. Oh, come on! You got that right! Do you know somebody who works at Jellyvision? Heads are gonna roll for this. Nobody makes me look stupid. Categories known as Tricky Dick's favorite haunts. Get a right answer, you're walking away with $4,000. Hey, did you ever see The Shining, that movie about the haunted hotel where that freaky little kid can't stop saying, "Red rum, red rum"? If the family from The Shining become caretakers at the Watergate Hotel, what will the freaky little kid be saying?
You're all grub, be rubber, noiting iser,
Or,
noitanasassa.
no, gotta hit your buzzer. Player 1. Little Danny said red rum because of the Overlook murders, and he'd say Iralgra because of the Watergate burglary. You know, if you ask me, the whole Watergate thing would have been more fun if Scatman Crothers had a cameo. Deuce. It's like having a karaoke bar in your own shower. You get 4,000 clams for this one. Okay, imagine you're at a karaoke bar and it's your turn to sing, but you're nervous as hell. If you feel more comfortable on stage singing into your own Mr. Microphone, which of these must the karaoke bar have for you to perform? A car, a cassette player, a radio, or a television? Player 1. Mr. Microphone's the wireless mic that allows you to hear your own voice on the radio. Of course, you'll be feeling nervous as hell again once everyone in the karaoke bar hears your crappy voice and they start to point and laugh at you. Hello to Battle On, Xenon. How does $4,000 grab you? Let's rock. If the producers of Xena decide to come out with a new show about Xenon, what would be the best title for it? Xenon, Radioactive Princess Metal. Xenon, Colorful Princess Liquid. Xenon, Odorless Princess Gas. Or Xenon, Alien Princess Whatchamajiggy. Oh, Yahtzee! And I'm sure there'll be lots of episodes of it almost kissing another odorless gas. Pucker up for Take Me to Your VCR. And it's worth $2,000 if you get this one right. Okay, I got a question. Why is NASA sending all these space probes out to find out if there's life on Mars when all they have to do is watch a couple of movies? Because it involves an attack on Earth by Martians, which of these movies could NASA use as further evidence of life on Mars? Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Thing, The Day the Earth Stood Still, or The War of the Worlds? Player one. The War of the Worlds is the only one of these movies that actually involves Martians. And if NASA doesn't get that tape back to the rental store on time, it's gonna cost them $5 billion in late fees. Magazines that men love. Play your cards right, you win $4,000. Put your tray in the upright position, it's time for takeoff. If Esquire only sold subscriptions to folks who can call themselves Esquire, which of the following TV characters could not get it? Claire Huxtable from The Cosby Show, Ernie Becker from L.A. Law, Ally McBeal from Ally McBeal, or Detective Lenny Briscoe from Law & Order? All yours? No, Ally could get a subscription, and she'd be so cute and representative of the modern woman while doing it. Make your move, player two. No, hit your buzzer! Player two, grab it! Among the many things you could call Corbin Burnson's Ernie Becker, Esquire is one of them. Bet you wish you'd pick this. Esquire is an honorarium usually reserved for lawyers, and though Jerry Orbach's Detective Briscoe is a lot of things, he's not a lawyer. Esquire would be the first magazine to charge subscription rates by the hour spent reading. The selection is Love Notes of the Rich and Famous. And get this one right, you got 4K coming your way. Okay, you know how supposedly a lot of people get a copy of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass as gifts at the White House? Well, we thought we'd take a look at the contents. Which of these is not a poem in Leaves of Grass? Whoever you are holding me now in hand, Trickle Drops, Spontaneous Me, or Come Lay Your Head in My Lap? Player one, you... Player two, it's you. Take a shot, player two. Whitman apparently never put out this invitation in writing. But he did discuss it in his later volume entitled, I'd Come Out of the Closet If That Concept Had Been Invented Yet. This little number's known as 1 gallon milk, dozen eggs, invade Belgium, and you pocket $2,000 if you get this one. Okay, how do you take over the world? Well, a day planner might be a start. On which of these to-do lists would Hitler have checked off every item? Take France, ally with Britain, buy beer, take Austria, pick up shirts, invade Poland, trim mustache, lose Stalingrad, surrender, or get milk bomb Hawaii, call Hermann. Hitler took Austria, he invaded Poland, and old newspaper photographs tell us he wore shirts. And what wasn't checked off? Well, he never shaved off that mustache, and he completely forgot to pick up a sense of human decency. Man, I hate that. Sorry? Knights with tons of horsepower. Get it right, I'm handing over 2K. You know that show Viper about some people who drive around in a Dodge Viper fighting crime? How unoriginal is that? They steal the idea from Knight Rider and then they name the show after the car. If Knight Rider had been named after the type of car Michael Knight drove, what would it have been called? Trans Am, Corvette, Camaro, or Firebird? The correct answer is... Kit was a Pontiac Trans Am. Michael, my sensors indicate that our Nielsen ratings are dropping at a dangerous rate. Don't talk to me, Kit. I thought you should have been a Porsche. And this one is the dog father of our country. How does $2,000 sound? You know, if there's any life lesson I've learned from Snoop Doggy Dogg, it's to keep your money on your mind, even in times of trouble. For example, which U.S. bill has the U.S. Treasury building on the back? $5 bill, $10 bill, $20 bill, or $100 bill? Now, on the back of the 20 is the White House. If you look closely, you can almost make out the bullet holes in crashed plane. For the curious, here's the right answer. On the $10 bill, the one with Alexander Hamilton? Yeah! And if you frantically went digging into your pocket to look at your money, shame on you. Your dog father and I are very disappointed. Well, what do we have here?
'Tis but a price check, my lord.
$2,000 for a correct answer. Okay, so wrap your head around this. In the play Hamlet, Hamlet says he's going to make his quietus with a bare bodkin. Well, he said it. If Hamlet were shopping for a bodkin at Target, where would he start? Jewelry, greeting cards, kitchenware, or lingerie? Just doesn't get any wronger than this. In case you're wondering, a bodkin is a kind of knife, and in a set with a cutting board and sharpening stone, it's only 40 shillings. A pox on me, Kmart. Well, looks like this category is
Xander Van Yippet, I can turn this spaceship around.
4,000 big ones for a right answer here. Heads up, here it comes. Considering how the spaceship in Close Encounters of the Third Kind communicates with humans, what Earthling game might the aliens like for long space journeys? Mad Libs, Othello, Simon, or Hungry Hungry Hippos? Simon is that game where you try and repeat the machine's pattern of lights and sound, a lot like the scientists and the spaceship communicate in Close Encounters. Hey, now that I think about it, that's happened to me. I've had a close encounter, only we called it a Pink Floyd laser show. Enjoyment. Headgum. Get a right answer, you're walking away with $4,000. Sure, you chewed Hubba Bubba when you were little, but the super smart kids had a different gum. Say you're chewing a chunk of Hubble Bubble. Considering Edwin Hubble's theories, what does the big luscious bubble you blow best represent? The increase of greenhouse gases, the growth of the middle class, the swelling of sick cells, or the expansion of the universe? Edwin Hubble was an astronomer whose research proved that the universe is expanding. Of course, unlike gum, the universe doesn't lose all its flavor after 5 minutes. This category's known as, guess you better slow your Mustang down. You get 4,000 clams for this one. Hey, you know the classic Wilson Pickett tune Mustang Sally? Of course you do. Suppose you take Wilson Pickett's advice and ride Sally Ride. Who will probably tell you to get the hell off her back? A former Texas governor, an Olympic champion, a renowned scientist, or a pioneer astronaut? The correct answer is, in 1983, Sally Ride became the first American woman in space. You don't want to ride her very long anyway. You know, there's just a lot of chafing during atmospheric re-entry. May I introduce, able to read Hebrew in a single sitting. How does $4,000 grab you? Flex those fingers, 'cause here it comes. Suppose DC Comics creates a new comic book hero named Torah Man who has the powers of all the Old Testament figures. Which power will he not have? Can interpret any dream, ability to cross water while staying dry, ability to turn water into wine, or can kill a giant with a rock? Hey, I didn't say they had to be useful superpowers. See, now, I could have given you some cash if you picked this. Jesus was the one who turned water into wine, and he's decidedly New Testament. And when they make the movie, they can bring Chris O'Donnell in as his sidekick. Oh, to Constitution Schmonstitution. Play your cards right, you win $4,000. Okay, imagine this thing that I just made up. A typo discovered in the Constitution reveals that its authors actually meant to guard against cruel and unusual punishment. Which constitutional right do you now have? The right not to be tied up with yarn, the right not to be force-fed oatmeal, the right not to be beaten with a small spade, or the right not to be violated by a sea fish? Don't kid yourself, man. None of us are safe from that. Bet you wish you'd pick this. Crewel is a type of yarn used in embroidery. The other surprise is that the Second Amendment was actually meant to guarantee the right to bear knitting needles. Okay, give it up for... Whoa, slow down there. And it's worth $2,000 if you get this one right. Let's rock. If the rock group Rush wrote a song about the rushes used in the filming of their next video, what would be the best title? 2112 A Space Odyssey? Unedited Moving Pictures? Fly in the Backdrops by Night? Or All the World's a Stage Combat? The rushes, or dailies, are the unedited pieces of film from the prior day's shooting. So that'd be yesterday's Tom Sawyer. Now serving. Ahoy, primate! And you pocket $2,000 if you get this one. Put your tray in the upright position. It's time for takeoff. Say the captain of a ship asks his first mate how the waters look ahead, and the sailor points and shouts, "Aye, aye!" What will he probably then say to answer the captain's confused look? Rough seas and a chimp in the distance? Look out for the killer orangutan! Choppy water and a lemur up ahead! Or, we're headed for a storm and a baboon! Oh my god, it's an orangutan! And he's got a gun! Hey, got a minute? Take a look at a right answer. An aye-aye is a lemur-like primate. Ahoy! Look out, by Jesus! Ends with, I want to shoot Drew Barrymore. Get it right, I'm handing over $2K. So check it out, I'm standing in the checkout line at the grocery store and I pick up this fashion magazine and it's got this whole photo spread of Drew Barrymore. If the magazine's photographer had asked Drew Barrymore to show her great profile, what should she have done? Show photos from her Playboy spread, whip out a picture of her grandfather, hand over her very first resume, or present her monologue from Bad Girls?
And if you look to your left, you'll see the popular wrong answer.
Ooh. Here's what you should have picked. Drew's grandfather, the film legend John Barrymore, was known as the Great Profile. But that was when he was young and dashing, years before he shriveled up and joined little Drew on screen when he played E.T. This little number's known as Boring Dinner Guests. How does $2,000 sound? Just step up and take a swing at this one. Why might you complain that Niels Bohr is such a bore? He thinks he's the center of the universe, growing pea plants is his favorite pastime, all he talks about is quantum theory, or he rudely goes around classifying everything.
I told you not to do that!
See, now, I could have given you some cash if you pick this. Niels Bohr is a scientist known for his advancements in the field of quantum theory. And what's worse, after dinner he's going to show his slides from his trip to Niagara Falls. Gory? Undercover Underwire. $2,000 for a correct answer. Okay, just for a minute, let's hypothetically pretend that maybe I'm growing a set of he-boobies. What cup size do I need if the measurement of my breasts at their fullest point is 3 inches larger than my bra size? B, C, D, or double D? Oh, that's not good. In case you're wondering, your bra size is calculated by taking your ribcage measurement and adding 6 inches. 1 inch larger than your bra size is an A cup, 2 is a B cup, 3 is a C, and so on and so on. And through my shame and horror, I must say I'm quite perky. To ridding the world of pesky family coffee shops. And you pocket $2,000 if you get this one. Okay, here goes. You know about Mr. Coffee and Coffee Mate? Meet Java Man. Say Java Man heads to Starbucks. What will he most likely hear from behind the counter? Hey, no dogs allowed! Want a little taste of your competition? Something to warm up your bones? Or take of the biscotti, my lord. I bet you have a bad taste in your mouth right now. Hey, got a minute? Take a look at a right answer. Java Man is the skeletal remains of a really old Homo erectus guy found in Java, Indonesia. So the Starbucks staff might ask him if he wanted something to warm up his bones. Turns out Java Man hocked his spine to support his grande mocha skim latte habit. Open wide and get ready for literature with legroom. Get it right, I'm handing over $2K. Hope you brought your suit. It's time to get wet. Which title would most likely have been written by the author Victor Hugo? On the Roadster, The Hatchback of Notre Dame, A Tale of Two Chevys, or The Last of the Mopeds? Victor Hugo wrote The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and the Hugo is a crappy compact car. And quite frankly, I'd much rather see that story turned into a car than some lame-ass animated feature. Up for The Unbearable Lightness of Being Kate Moss. How does $2,000 sound? Let's rock. What would happen to Kate Moss's weight if the Uber waif were on the planet Mercury? She would appear to weigh nothing, she'd appear to weigh even less, her weight would appear to stay the same, or she'd finally appear to gain a few pounds. And that would be different from the way she looks on Earth? How? The correct answer is... because the gravity on Mercury is 0.38 that of Earth, Kate Moss would appear to weigh even less, and she still thinks she looks fat. Now serving, name that moon. $2,000 for a correct answer. Put your tray in the upright position. It's time for takeoff. If somebody moons you and their butt is at its apogee, what is true? They're as close to you as they can get, they're as far away from you as they can get, their butt is blocking out the sun, or their butt is made of green cheese. If that's how they express their closeness to you, I'd say you still have a ways to go with your relationship. See, now, I could have given you some cash if you pick this. When the moon is at its apogee, it is at its farthest point from the Earth. Hey, just be glad the moon doesn't have an atmosphere. The selection is, he always brings a Trojan to bed. $2,000 says you don't know this one. You know, some guys will try anything to get lucky. Take Zeus, for example. Was there anything he wouldn't do to hook up with a chick? Considering how he has seduced other women, which of the following is not a line Zeus would use to pick up a woman?
Hey baby, ever done it with a rainstorm? Hey baby, ever done it with a swan? Hey baby, ever done it with a bull? Or hey baby, ever done it with a bee?
Zeus used a lot of tricks to get mortal Nookie in his day, but pretending to be a bee wasn't one of them. Of course, nowadays Zeus mainly disguises himself as Matt Damon. It ends with Mass Devo Station, and it's worth $2,000 if you get this one right. Hey, remember Devo's famous song Whip It that was supposedly about S&M? Well, if Devo had recorded a companion song to their big hit called Whip It, about what would they have been singing? Rolling a chariot over your lover, hitting your lover with a hammer, making love under a willow tree, or unleashing a dog on your lover? I've heard of tough love, but let's not go completely Ben-Hur. For the curious, here's the right answer. A whippet is a racing dog, similar to a greyhound. And when the whippet's good, give him a doggy treat. Here we have, you know, the one by that guy. And get this one right, you got 4K coming your way. Put it in gear, 'cause here we go. If it took you as much time to read a book as the time that passes in that book, which of the following would you finish first? Shakespeare's Macbeth, Joyce's Ulysses, Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, or Homer's The Odyssey? The Odyssey? That's right, the time just flies when you're stranded at sea with a group of hungry, dirty ancient Greeks. Should have picked this. James Joyce's book Ulysses follows a single day in the life of Leopold Bloom and Stephen Dedalus. And if you can finish reading that sucker in one day, then those Sylvan Learning Center classes are really paying off. Coming at you. So scared you'll wet your pants. 4,000 big ones for a right answer here. Okay, listen carefully and see if you know this one. If you suffer from siderodromophobia, which sound will most likely make you wet your pants in fear? Would it be sound 1, sound 2, ho, 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 sound 3, or sound 4? Siderodromophobia is the fear of trains. However, it has nothing to do with being afraid of driving big, long objects through dark, long tunnels. This one's called Family Ties Latin Style. $2,000 says you don't know this one. Okay, TV fans and really old Roman people, get ready to complete this analogy of ancient Roman gods and warm-hearted comedy. Jupiter is to Minerva as Stephen Keaton is to Jennifer Keaton, Alex Keaton is to Mallory Keaton, Stephen Keaton is to Elise Keaton, or Skippy Handelman is to Mallory Keaton. What the hell were you thinking there? Let's take a look at the right answer. It's a father-daughter thing, but you'd never think of Tina Yothers as the goddess of wisdom, especially if you saw her made-for-TV movie Laker Girls. One's called A Glorious Ride to the Glue Factory, and it's worth $2,000 if you get this one right. Hey, do you remember Secretariat, the racehorse that won a horse racing Triple Crown in 1973? If instead of Secretariat, the winning jockey had saddled up and ridden Proletariat, who or what would he have ridden to a Triple Crown win? A large capitalist American hotel chain, the class of working industrial wage earners, the class of rich through inheritance, or a group of professional government officials? The rich? No, but if any of them break their leg, I'll gladly shoot them. Should have picked this. The proletariat is a term used for industrial employees as both an economic and a social class. Basically, the human equivalent of a horse. And I tell you, the proletariat works a lot harder if you whip them in the ass with a riding crop. Or he's known as Obsession with Spinach, the first sign of danger. And you pocket $2,000 if you get this one. Uh-oh, it looks like Popeye and Bluto have been at it again. Following their last meeting, Popeye has developed a serious case of a Blutomania. What should Olive Oil do to help Popeye get a grip? Tell him she loves him when he's sweaty, take away his dice and poker chips, cut off the electricity to his house, or bring him to church to confess his sins? Interesting choice. Here's what you should have picked. A Blutomania is the obsession with personal cleanliness. A sailor obsessed with personal cleanliness? That's a first. May I introduce DreamWorks SKG equals sacks of kingly gold. Get it right, I'm handing over $2K. Hey, you know the George Clooney, Nicole Kidman movie, The Peacemaker, about a Bosnian terrorist with a stolen nuclear bomb? Well, imagine a sequel to The Peacemaker called The Freshmaker. Who would you most likely expect Clooney and Kidman to be chasing? Bosnians wielding stolen Arid Extra Dry, Bosnians wielding stolen Aquafresh, Bosnians wielding stolen Toilet Duck, or Bosnians wielding stolen Mentos? The Freshmaker is the slogan for Mentos candies.
Ha! You Americans will be sorry for your pig dog ways after I get these construction guys to lift my car for me.
Her boyfriend's a real bimbo. How does $2,000 sound? Flex those fingers, 'cause here it comes. If cartoon character Betty Boop still appeared as she was originally drawn, who would most likely have a crush on her? Mighty Mouse, Scooby-Doo, Beavis and Butthead, or Felix the Cat? In her early days, Betty Boop was a dog. Open wide and get ready for... Here, put this in your mouth. $2,000 for a correct answer. Attention, shoppers, I've got an analogy here for you. Robin Williams is to Peter Pan Peanut Butter as Yul Brynner is to what? Jeff Peanut Butter, Mr. Clean Disinfectant, Quaker Oatmeal, or Ramsey's Condoms?
Oh, just can't do anything right, can you?
Bet you wish you'd pick this. Robin Williams played Peter Pan in the movie Hook. Yul Brynner played Ramses in the Ten Commandments. Only difference is one sticks to the roof of your mouth and the other is just sticky. Okay, give it up for... You know what they say about a prehensile nose. Get a right answer, you're walking away with $4,000. Think fast. Imagine an episode of Sesame Street where Snuffleupagus shows the kids a sarcophagus. What might this show be about? Hungry hippopotamuses, pregnant pachyderms, endangered elephants, or mummified mammoths? A sarcophagus is a type of tomb, particularly popular with the Egyptians, so the kids might learn about mummified mammoths. Or they might just see a bunch of dead things and start crying. We're not just inventors, we're in love. You get 4,000 clams for this one. Okay, even though you've never called them, though you probably have, you all know about those 1-900-SEX lines, right? Suppose you call a phone sex service and you hear the first words ever to be transmitted by telephone. Which of the following would be making you hot? Come now, I'm aching. Come here, I want you. Come over, I'm waiting. Or come again, I need you. I don't think I heard you. Come again? Let's take a look at the right answer. Alexander Graham Bell's first words via the telephone were, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want you." He then said, "What's your credit card number and do you have your dad's permission?" The selection is The Further Adventures of Mighty Mouse. How does $4,000 grab you? Okay, Captain America wears red, white, and blue, just like the American flag, right? Considering the colors of the Chinese flag, which superhero might be named Captain China for his costume? Green Lantern, Spider-Man, The Flash, or the Hulk? Red and gold make the cowled crime fighter a big hit in Capital City and Canton alike. That Flash, he's 1 in a billion. Category is The Shining New Year. Play your cards right, you win $4,000. Okay, remember in The Shining when Jack Nicholson's character has cabin fever and writes all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy a bazillion times, and then he becomes a homicidal maniac? Well, according to the Mother Goose nursery rhyme, what would all play and no work make Jack? A dull boy, a mother's joy, a tasty poi, or a mere toy? All play and no work makes Jack a mere toy. But a mere toy can still kill you, I know. I saw Child's Play 4. Coming at you. I'm a bee-weaver. And get this one right, you got 4K coming your way. Okay, for this one, you gotta choose the answer that correctly completes the sequence. Alien blank, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. Is it Aliens, Aliens 2, Alien 2, or Alien Revenge? The second movie in the Alien series is called Aliens. I can't wait till the next one comes out. I bet it'll have lots of aliens and stuff in it. Going. Plus, he's got feta breath. How does $2,000 sound? Put it in gear, 'cause here we go. Why would it have been a drag to date the ancient Greek Ptolemy? His emperor dad killed all his other wives. He was also seeing his mom. He thought the heavens revolved around him, or they hacked off his penis. Let's take a look at the right answer. Ptolemy was a Greek astronomer who thought the sun and stars circle the earth. Pretty self-centered. And on top of that, he always wears the same smelly toga. Well, what do we have here? Slow hands and fast forwards. $2,000 for a correct answer. Let's see if you can wrap your head around this. Which urgently titled movie features music written by Eric Slowhand Clapton? Speed, Rush, Quick, or Fastest Guitar Alive?
You're wrong, and stay out of my purse.
Should have picked this. Slowhand did the music for Rush. And when I went to see Rush, there was some idiot yelling, "What the hell? Where's Getty?" every 5 minutes. This one's called, oh my god, they're so spiritual. $2,000 says you don't know this one. Let's see how you handle this one. Suppose you find a group of people all chanting Om over and over. Aside from being deeply spiritual beings, how do they probably make their livings? As construction workers, as doctors, as jewelers, or as electricians? An ohm is a standard unit of electrical resistance. Which is ironic, because if you're expecting actual service from the electric company, prayer is usually the best method. And I believe this one's called Celestial Bodies at the Auto Show. And it's worth $2,000 if you get this one right. Flex those fingers, because here it comes. Considering what kind of star remains after a supernova explosion, which of these cars might you expect to remain after a super Chevy Nova explosion? A Ford Windstar, a Nissan Pulsar, a Mercury Comet, or a Dodge Stratus? Bet you wish you'd pick this. After a supernova explosion, the star that remains is called a pulsar. But is there really any such thing as a super Chevy Nova? Well, mercy me, it looks like a dis or dat question. The category for this dis or dat question is, they sent my letter to a frat house. Okay, listen up. I'm going to read off 7 two-letter combinations, and for each one, I want you to tell me whether it's a letter of the Greek alphabet or a U.S. postal abbreviation. If the two-letter combo in front of you is a Greek letter, hit the square. If it's a postal abbreviation, press the circle, and press the triangle button to skip. I'll add 500 to your score for a right answer, and 500 will be taken away if you get it wrong or don't get to it. Alright, let's put 30 seconds on the clock. Let's go in. PA, Greek letter or postal abbreviation. PI. ID. LA. NU. MU. This is it. MO. What can I say? 7 out of 7. I got nothing to criticize here. Yeah, that's what you want to see. Now let's see what else we got going. Now serving. Get off my back. 4,000 big ones for a right answer here. Just step up and take a swing at this one. If you played leapfrog with the person associated with the historic Great Leap Forward, which of the following would you do? Leap over Carl Lewis, hop over Cro-Magnon Man, jump over Chairman Mao, or pound over Neil Armstrong? That's one small step for a loser, one giant step for loser kind. The correct answer is... The Great Leap Forward was a social program introduced by Mao Zedong in 1958 to promote Chinese nationalism and prosperity. In the 80s, it was replaced by the Run Over the Bastards with a Tank program, known as What Did You Take to Get You So High? Get a right answer, you're walking away with $4,000. Hey, remember the 60s and that song by the Byrds, 8 Miles High? Yeah. Anywho, if you were grooving to the Byrds while you were actually 8 miles high, where would you have been? Tie-dyeing mandalas in the mesosphere, with your lava lamp in the stratosphere, smelling patchouli in the troposphere, or wasted in the doposphere?
Hey, not everybody can be right, just the winners.
In case you're wondering, the stratosphere is the area between 7 and 30 miles above the Earth. You know, just where you'd find Lucy floating with the diamonds. We have Working for the Man, and it's worth $2,000 if you get this one right. Heads up, here it comes. If the musician who penned Working Class Hero worked for the boss who answered to the chairman of the board, what would be the chain of command? Bowie, Springsteen, Jagger, McCartney, Jagger, Costello, Sinatra, Lennon, Sting, or Lennon, Springsteen, Sinatra?
You'll want to put some ice on that.
Hey, got a minute? Take a look at a right answer. Lennon wrote Working Class Hero, Bruce is the boss, and Frank is the chairman of the board. But come on, these guys are musicians. They never busted their ass under a hot sun until their backs break and the blisters on their hands run with blood and pus. Kind of like a game show host. The category? I guess they were lonelier than we thought. And you pocket $2,000 if you get this one. Let's imagine Hollywood is going to make a sequel to the hit mermaid movie Splash. If the casting director were to make the same mistake as the sailors of old, which creature might be mistakenly cast as the beautiful mermaid? A manatee, a sperm whale, a seahorse, or a jellyfish? Lonely sailors would often mistake the manatee's large breasts and slightly forked rear fins for a mermaid. And they settled for Daryl Hannah? May I introduce, Because Smoking is Glamorous. You get 4,000 clams for this one. Let's rock. Because it does not contain the name of a brand of cigarettes, which of these would not describe people who smoke? They have more, they look hot, they're cool, or they've got style. There is no brand of cigarettes called hot. So what if they don't look hot? At least they get to hang out with the elite crowds at the lung cancer ward. Now serving. Every night is ladies' night. How does $4,000 grab you? Let's see if you can wrap your head around this. What kind of crowd would you expect at a trendy new singles joint called the Isobar? Hip fitness trainers looking for love, hip weathermen on the make, hip stockbrokers hoping to score, or hip electricians shaking their groove thing? An isobar is a line on a weather map which connects points of equal atmospheric pressure. The isobar is a pretty boring place. Everybody just sits around and talks about the weather. Ends with, put that in your pipe and choke it, and you pocket $2,000 if you get this one. So, you know how when you're eating, you sometimes have food that goes down the wrong pipe? Well, what's the right name for the wrong pipe? The wrong pipe, the medulla oblongata, the esophagus, or the trachea? The windpipe is called the trachea. But if it goes up the wrong pipe, well, that's a whole different issue. To go by, who will save your soul in physics class? Get it right, I'm handing over $2K. You know, I miss the days back in '95 when I was one of 10 people who owned that Jewel album. She was all mine then. Anyway. If you measure Jewel's success in joules, which of these could you not determine? How hard she works, how hot she is, how much stress she's under, or how much energy she performs with? It's just tragic. Hey, got a minute? Take a look at a right answer. Work, energy, and quantity of heat are all measured in joules, but stress is measured in pascals. And you know what causes me the most stress? All these foolish games. They tear me apart. This little number's known as, we're all sweat hogs underneath our skin. How does $2,000 sound? Let's see how you handle this one. Which landmark decision by the Supreme Court made sure that Freddie Boom Boom Washington, Juan Epstein, and Vinnie Barbarino could all attend the same school? Plessy versus Ferguson, Miranda versus Arizona, Dred Scott versus Sanford, or Brown versus Topeka Board of Education? Brown versus Topeka Board of Education overturned the idea of separate but equal and insisted schools desegregate. Incidentally, desegregate is the word that knocked all three of them out of the spelling bee. We have, does that come in puce? $2,000 for a correct answer. Hey, you know how Kmart always has those blue light specials? Suppose Kmart's next blue light special is on blue light. If it's shelved according to the color spectrum, where will you find it? Next to the orange light, next to the red light, next to the yellow light, or next to the green light? On the spectrum, blue comes right after green. And right before Jacqueline Smith. Let's see what we got going. Your mother takes pills in hell. $2,000 says you don't know this one. Hey, you remember the sequel to The Exorcist? You know, Exorcist II, The Heretic? If the sequel had been called Exorcist II, The Diuretic, what would you have most likely seen on screen? A possessed little girl bathing in pea soup, a possessed little girl urinating pea soup, a possessed little girl vomiting pea soup, or a possessed little girl weeping pea soup? A diuretic is something that's supposed to increase the amount you urinate. However, folks, urinating pea soup might be an indicator of a larger problem. See your physician or your priest. And I believe this one's called Deep Sea Thinking. Play your cards right, you win $4,000. Hope you brought your suit. It's time to get wet. If you're trying to fathom a fathom, how deep a thought are you literally having? 6 feet, 6 leagues, 10 feet, or 10 nautical miles? 6 leagues? No, but 19,994 more and you'd have a great story. Here's what you should have picked. A fathom is 6 feet. Geez, 6 feet? That's almost like 2 yards. Hey, how's that for a deep thought? Categories known as, his nose looks like a penis regardless. And get this one right, you got 4K coming your way. Hey, you know how some people say they'd walk a mile for a camel? Well, let's see how bad they really want to smoke. Let's say that while you walk a mile for a camel, you smoke 1 cigarette for every furlong you walk. How many butts would you have smoked after walking a mile? 1/4 of a cigarette, 4 cigarettes, 8 cigarettes, or 20 cigarettes? 1/4 of a cigarette, you may as well be smoking butts. The correct answer is After walking a mile, you would have traveled 8 furlongs and smoked 8 butts. 8 cigarettes a mile? What? Why don't you just give up breathing? Say hello to, you say potato, I say wiener schnitzel. 4,000 big ones for a right answer here. Let's rock. When John F. Kennedy visited the Berlin Wall in 1963, he announced, "Ich bin ein Berliner." Considering the German translation of this phrase, where would JFK feel most at home? The McDonald's in Munich, the Hardee's in Hamburg, the Taco Bell in Bonn, or the Dunkin' Donuts in Dusseldorf? Ich wünsche ein Happy Meal bitte. Bet you wish you'd pick this. While JFK meant to say, "I am a citizen of Berlin," the German idiomatically translated to, "I am a jelly donut."
I'm here today to tell you that I am a jelly donut. And Vice President Johnson here is a medium decaf coffee.
Ready for, not for profit, but definitely for Allah. $2,000 for a correct answer. All right, check out this analogy for me, will ya? The old woman in the shoe is to Planned Parenthood as the Prophet Muhammad is to what? Greenpeace, reading is fundamental, Alcoholics Anonymous, or Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Officer, I can assure you my camel is not intoxicated.
He's praying. For the curious, here's the right answer. Just as the old lady in the shoe might have benefited from Planned Parenthood with all the kids she ended up with, so Muhammad could have used reading as fundamental, being that he was illiterate.
See Jane run. Run, Jane, run.
He's a prophet!
It's the word of God!
Amen!
This little number's known as, "Granny, I just found me a bunch of laxative." $2,000 says you don't know this one. Okay, we all know Jed Clampett was a poor mountaineer who barely kept his family fed, right? Suppose instead of crude oil, Jed found himself some castor oil. Considering where castor oil comes from, what would Jed most likely have shot? A plant, a neighbor, a rock, or a beaver? No, but them beavers is good eating. See, now, I could have given you some cash if you pick this. Castor oil comes from a plant called, get this, the castor oil plant.
Granny, fetch me a bucket. Who doggies? We're gonna be rich, I tell you. People are gonna come from miles around to cure their constipation.
The category is arts and crafts for the anal retentive. Get a right answer, you're walking away with $4,000. I wonder what's on today's episode of Martha Stewart Living. Guess I'll check the TV listings here. Today, Martha shows viewers how to carve pictures into pieces of whalebone with a jackknife. What is this episode about? Cloisonne, macrame, scrimshaw, or origami? Scrimshaw is the art of carving pictures into pieces of bone or ivory. It was originally developed by sailors as a way to kill time on voyages.
Next week I'll be showing you the basics of whaling, choosing a crew, setting a course, and the do's and don'ts of harpooning. Plus we'll hear some authentic sea shanties. It's a good thing. Arrgh!
Here we have Comedy Central and Mythology. You get 4,000 clams for this one. Hey, I hope you like the SAT, because this is an analogy question. Prometheus is to liver is eaten, as Kenny from South Park is to what? Barfs, falls in love, gets anal probe, or dies. Prometheus has his liver eaten every day, and every day we visit Comedy Central's South Park, Kenny dies. In fact, in the next new episode, Kenny dies by having his liver eaten. Oops, shouldn't have ruined it for you. Oh well, there'll be a new episode in a few months. Where did Lily put that? How does $4,000 grab you? Imagine this. Jonathan Swift is trying to find a webpage devoted to his book Gulliver's Travels. Considering the people he describes in the story, which search engine should he use? Hotbot, Yahoo, Webcrawler, or Magellan? The Yahoos were a race of crude, disgusting humans Swift wrote about in Gulliver's Travels. Yeah, like you can find anything crude on the internet. One's called Jurassic Juliet. Play your cards right, you win $4,000. Let's see if you can wrap your head around this. If Shakespeare had set Romeo and Juliet in bedrock with Pebbles and Bam Bam as the young lovers, who would have been the head of the Capulet family? Barney, Betty, Fred, or Wilma? Oh, I'm sorry. You must be crushed. See, now, I could have given you some cash if you picked this. Since the fair Pebbles Flintstone would have been Juliet, that would make Fred the head of the Capulets.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo?
Bam, 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 bam! This category's known as, perhaps you need a hobby. How does $2,000 sound? Okay, imagine this. You want to recreate the long-running Broadway musical Cats using your own pets. Which of these is not fit for a role? Your Pekingese, your Persian, your Abyssinian, or your Siamese? Catfight! In case you're wondering, Pekingese is a Chinese breed of dog, so it wouldn't make the cut in cats, but it's great for stir-fry. Pucker up for, where have all the circus freaks gone? $2,000 for a correct answer. Okay, imagine this depraved daytime suck show scenario. The next Jerry Springer show is all about a 600-pound woman and her 60-pound husband. What's the name of this episode? I'm a mesomorph who loves memomorphs. I'm a trimorph who loves paramorphs. I'm an endomorph who loves ectomorphs. Or I'm a lagomorph who loves geomorphs. An endomorph is a person with a heavy-set build, while an ectomorph is a person with a more bony build. But what's really cool is over on Jenny Jones, she's got a 360-pound hermaphrodite. Give it up for, put him up again this week. $2,000 says you don't know this one. Hope you brought your suit. It's time to get wet. Suppose the cops on NYPD Blue only enforced blue laws. Which of the following would you see on the show week in, week out? Cops busting other cops? Cops busting porno film directors? Cops busting women who vote? Or cops busting stores that stay open on Sunday?
Put him up!
No, you put him up.
No, I'm arresting you!
Nuh-uh, I'm arresting you.
The correct answer is, blue laws are archaic morality laws that regulate activity on Sundays. Yeah, in some places you can't buy booze on Sundays, but you can show Dennis Franz's ass anytime you like. No serving.
Tharg no have passport.
And it's worth $2,000 if you get this one right. Think fast. Considering where the Neanderthal Valley is located, why did Neanderthal man most likely die out? Ate bad snails in cafe near Eiffel Tower, got lost when Constantinople became Istanbul, tripped over pyramids eaten by Sphinx, or hunting grounds paved over for Autobahn.
No, Groog. Take snail out of shell first.
See, now, I could have given you some cash if you picked this. The Neanderthal Valley and the Autobahn are both located in Germany. Or maybe they just ate all that sausage and pork and goose fat and beer and died of huge freaking heart attacks. This little number's known as Puppet Man in the Hood. And get this one right, you got 4K coming your way. Wow, is Mr. Rogers hung up on neighbors? He must have millions of them. Say Mr. Rogers wants to celebrate America's good neighbor policy. To get in the proper spirit, what will take the place of his usual cardigan? A Latin American poncho, a Canadian hockey jersey, an English riding jacket, or a Hawaiian lei? The good neighbor policy improved relations between the U.S. and Latin America, so Mr. Rogers would wear a poncho. And of course, instead of King Friday, there'd be a string of short-lived fascist dictators. The category is, the German judge gives you the finger. 4,000 big ones for a right answer here. Put it in gear, 'cause here we go. If the Olympics were to introduce a new sport called gouging to their program, what would you see athletes doing at the next Summer Olympics? Tearing at each other's eyes with thumbnails, sweeping the ice in front of a stone, spearing fish with a pointed stick, or throwing a leather bag for distance? Just like it sounds, gouging was a good old American frontier sport in which opponents would try to gouge each other's eyes out. You know what they say, practice, practice, blindness. Here we have bad career moves. Get a right answer, you're walking away with $4,000. Let's see if you can wrap your head around this. Say the makers of Irreconcilable Differences. They want to make a sequel and they want it to be a documentary based on the actor's real-life experience. Who could the film be about? Hey, shut up. You mispronounce things too. Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, Henry Thomas, or Shannon Tweed? Oh, Shannon Tweed is never the correct answer, especially in matters of the heart. Should have picked this. Irreconcilable Differences is a movie about a girl who divorces her parents, and Corey Feldman actually did divorce his parents in real life. There's no record as to whether the parents put up a fight. Mother Goose had some really clumsy kids. You get 4,000 clams for this one. Okay, you know the tale of Jack and Jill who went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, right? Who might be the characters in a news story about some kids who continually go up the hill, but each time they're about to reach the water, they fall back down? Hansel and Jill, Sisyphus and Jill, Humpty Dumpty and Jill, or Cupid and Jill? Sisyphus is a man from Greek mythology who is cursed to continuously roll a big rock up a hill. Each time he's about to reach the top, the rock rolls back down. Jack is a kid who keeps running up a hill with Jill in the hopes of getting her to roll his rocks for him. This one's called Getting Up on the Wrong Side of the Bed. Get it right, I'm handing over $2,000. Okay, we've all had one of those mornings where you wish you could call someone and order a transcript of the night before so you'd know what happened. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right? Anyway, which of these methods of morning after emergency contraception actually has medical approval? Using carbonated soda as a personal wash, quadrupling your birth control pill dosage, using 2 condoms the next time, or douching with strong black coffee? Oh, what a shame. Should have picked this. The FDA has approved the use of high doses, 2 doses of 2 to 4 pills of ordinary birth control pills as morning after emergency contraception. Unless, of course, you're a guy. If you take that many pills, you just won't have to shave for a week or so. Is known as elbow grease and a little something extra. How does $2,000 sound? Hey, you know those special cloths you use to polish your car? They're called chamois. They're just great, aren't they? Considering where a chamois comes from, which of the following would be the best advertising slogan? Sponge that grunge. Cleaning's a breeze with chimpanzees. Nothing like goat to shine your boat. Or others pale next to the shine of a whale. Chamois comes from the hide of the chamois goat. Yeah, I hear chamois are pretty good at getting a shine, but they leave your finish smelling like cheese. Now serving, and the award for most pretentious goes to, how does $4,000 grab you? Okay, Conan the vocabularian, maybe you can help me out. Tell me this. Tell me which phrase rhymes with the correct pronunciation of this actor's name. Alf Scenes, Safe Pines, Mouth Inez, or Chafe Fiends. Alf Scenes. No, that rhymes with television dreck. Let's take a look at the right answer. Rafe Fiennes rhymes with Safe Pines. Yeah, he was great in the English Pageant, known as Monks and Pickup Lines. Play your cards right, you win $4,000. All right, listen up and imagine this. Let's say while you're visiting your local monastery, a monk approaches and asks if you wish to participate in sext. What would be your most reasonable way to decline? I don't think I can wait till sundown to eat. 6 hours of silence? No can do, brother. No thanks, I prayed this morning. Or, keep your pants on, please. Man, I can't even last 6 seconds. Wait, let me try again. The correct answer is... a sext is a noon prayer service in the Catholic Church. So don't be alarmed by the monk's request for sext. However, I'd raise my eyebrows a little if he asked if you wanted in on the orgy. Serving. Do you live under a rocket? $2,000 for a correct answer. Okay, imagine this. Budget cuts have hit the Rockettes and they need to trim their ranks. If they still want to have 100 legs kicking but can only afford 10 Rockettes, whom should they hire? Ants, horses, spiders, or crabs?
Girls, 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 keep kicking!
I stepped on Jackie!
Hey, got a minute? Take a look at a right answer. Crabs have 5 pairs of legs, or 10 total. And I'm here to tell you there's nothing better than the legs of a rocket drenched in warm butter. It is, do not pass a go-go. $2,000 says you don't know this one. Monopoly's a fun game, but everyone's in it for themselves. Help me out with an idea for a different game. What's the best name for a Parker Brothers game in which the players join forces in order to run all the utilities on the board? Hostile Takeover, Flagship, Consortium, or Conglomerate? Oh, what a shame. Should have picked this. Consortium, the exciting game where you form associations with other corporations to engage in joint ventures. But don't talk about it with anybody outside of the game. That'd be insider trading, and that get out of jail free only works once. One likes to go by. Sorry, but Utah's a non-smoking area, and it's worth $2,000 if you get this one right. Okay, it's getting like you have to search 30 minutes just so you can find a designated smoking area in this country, isn't it? If the federal government designated the Valley of 10,000 Smokes as the only legal smoking area in the U.S., where would Americans have to go to smoke a butt? Nebraska, Colorado, Virginia, or Alaska? The Valley of 10,000 Smokes is where you'll find a bunch of volcanoes in South Alaska.
We need a virgin to appease the volcano.
Take Cheryl. She's never smoked unfiltered.
Good enough.
Here we have... all you need to pack is a swimsuit and a spoon. 4,000 big ones for a right answer here. Let's see if you can wrap your head around this. If you vacation on a floating island, which of the following would you be able to do? Swim in egg whites and custard, sail in pecans and sweetened cheese, ski in meringue and marshmallows, or snorkel in phyllo dough and honey?
Happy trails.
For the curious, here's the right answer. Floating island is a dessert made of egg whites poached in milk that are floating in custard.
Honey, this floating island's great, but what are the crunchy things in it?
Oh, those are the tourists.
Bayou in Louisiana, quest on 17.
And this one is, that's a bunch of bullock. Get a right answer, you're walking away with $4,000. Let's see how you handle this one. If Sandra Bullock were to portray a bullock in her next movie, what role would she play? A pregnant cow, a newborn calf, a virginal heifer, or a castrated bull?
All positions are filled, but thank you for applying.
Should have picked this. Sandra would be playing a castrated bull. It's quite an acting challenge. It would take a lot of balls on her part. Say hello to Ranks for the Retroid. Rough. $2,000 for a correct answer. Just step up and take a swing at this one. Say instead of a squeaky toy, you mistakenly bring Squeaky Frome home for your dog. Considering what made her famous, what will most likely happen? She'll splice your dog's atom, she'll do a gymnastic routine on your dog, she'll try to get your dog to vote, or she'll try to assassinate your dog.
Okay, well, I guess that's a write-in.
Hey, got a minute? Take a look at a right answer. Little Squeaky Frome got her 15 minutes by trying to assassinate President Ford, which is ironic considering Ford only had about 20 minutes. You're a royal screw-up. $2,000 says you don't know this one. Let's see if you can wrap your head around this. If your mom hires you a tutor, who will be helping you with your schoolwork? Napoleon, Henry VIII, Prince Charles, or Louis XIV? Henry VIII of England was a member of the Tudor family.
I warned you. That was the last time I tell you. It's base times height divided by 2. Off with his head!
Now serving. Take a look in the skinny atlas, and it's worth $2,000 if you get this one right. Heads up, here it comes. Which of the following is not a real town in New York State? Wanapee, Manlius, Coxsackie, or Tuckahoe? Coxsackie, it's a real town. Can I really say that? Really? Wow. Coxsackie, Coxsackie, Coxsackie. The correct answer is... there's no town called Wanapee. However, there is a place called Owego. Selection is... Red, leave Raffney alone! How does $4,000 grab you? Those dang Scooby kids are at it again. Say Daphne suddenly starts acting like the Daphne of Greek mythology. What mystery will Scooby-Doo and the gang be investigating? Why Daphne lives at the bottom of a lake? Why Daphne is hiding inside a wooden horse? Why Daphne turned into a tree? Or why Daphne married a wild boar? When the god Apollo chased Daphne, she turned into a laurel tree to escape. Of course, it's not actually a tree. It's an extremely realistic mask that Fred can pull off her head when they discover her trick. Shake hands with Rock-a-bye-bye, baby. Play your cards right, you win $4,000. Okay, let's imagine this. You're vacationing in London and you overhear a British couple talking about putting their baby in a bonnet or some boots. What can you assume the British couple is going to do? Are they going to lock the baby in a jail cell, stash the baby in the trunk or hood of a car, eat the baby, or dress the baby like a nun? Let this be a lesson to you. Bet you wish you'd pick this. The British call the hood of a car the bonnet and the trunk the boot. Well, I'm sure that in Britain the roads get slick in the winter and you gotta put something in the trunk to add some weight. As 'twas brillig down there. And get this one right, you got 4K coming your way. What's this? Oh, wow. It looks like a warning note or something. Here, take a look. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jub-Jub bird and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. According to this note, where shouldn't I go? To Narnia, through the looking glass, into the great glass elevator, or over the rainbow? The Jabberwock and the Jub-Jub bird are characters in a poem Alice reads in Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. I'm not too worried about going through a looking glass, though, I mean, every time I get near a mirror, I can't... Oh, God, I don't want to talk about it. Story is... Time Savers from Evel Knievel. 4,000 big ones for a right answer here. Is it just me, or do you think that Evel Knievel broke just about every bone in his body doing stunts? Suppose Evel Knievel does it all again, but wants to break his bones in less time. What could he run his bike over if he wanted a time-saving move to break half of his body's 206 bones? His spine and skull, his hands and feet, his pelvis and ribs, or his ribs and head? By breaking the bones in his hands and feet, Evel could get 106 of them out of the way, over half the bones in his body. Or he could just try that Snake River Canyon jump again, this time on foot. Coming at you. Good times in the Roman Empire. Get a right answer, you're walking away with $4,000. Hope you brought your suit. It's time to get wet. If JJ from Good Times had lived in the early days of ancient Rome, his nickname wouldn't have been JJ, but most likely what? YY, Parwus Puer, JS, or II? Here's what you should have picked. There was no J in early Latin. They used the letter I as a consonant and a vowel, so his first name would have been spelled I-A-M-E-S. He would have been known as I, or as his father James Sr. would have said, I. This one's called New Ways to Get Fouled. You get 4,000 clams for this one. Think fast. Considering the possible results of a vitamin D deficiency, what might be the best name for an NBA expansion team with a serious lack of D? The Boise Scurvy, the Kansas City Appendicitis, the Nashville Rickets, or the Albuquerque Herpes? Lack of vitamin D causes rickets, so you call that new franchise the Nashville Rickets. But maybe a better name for a team with no defense would be the Denver Nuggets. One is, clothes make the man, woman. $2,000 for a correct answer. Let's rock. If the cross-dressing RuPaul wears a size 10 men's shoe, what size women's shoe does she wear? Size 5, size 8, size 10, or size 12?
Oh, excuse me.
See, now, I could have given you some cash if you pick this. Women's shoes are sized 2 sizes higher than men's shoes, so someone who wears a size 10 men's shoe would wear a size 12 women's shoe. And you know what they say about the size of a transsexual's feet? Hello! And this one is, Argyles win! Argyles win! Argyles win! How does $2,000 sound? Hey, why is it that there's so many baseball teams named after hosiery? There's the White Sox, the Red Sox, even the old Cincinnati Red Stockings. If you went to a baseball game to watch a team of blue stockings, what might you hear from the game's announcer? There's a highly educated woman on first. The orphans beat them fair and square. The left fielder is literally on his horse. Or the shortstop doesn't have a head. Blue stocking is an old word for an intellectual woman, so if they ever got a hit, the blue stockings would have a highly educated woman on first. And I think I speak for most men when I say it's nice to see women spit and scratch for a change. Enjoyment. Mr. Whipple's snake trouble. $2,000 for a correct answer. Put it in gear, 'cause here we go. Since they're known for squeezing their prey to death, which kind of snake should Mr. Whipple keep well away from the Charmin? Mambas, vipers, cobras, or pythons? No, you want to keep paper products around for cobras, especially spitting cobras. God, they're so unhygienic. The correct answer is... pythons are non-venomous and kill by constrictor force of the body muscles, so there's an imminent danger that they might squeeze the Charmin. You know, I don't mean to digress, but when snakes swallow their prey, it kind of looks like this goiter that I've got. I'm sorry, it's just really bumming me out. Anyway.
I'm getting a reading of 12. Over.
This category's known as, we don't need another political scandal. You get 4,000 clams for this one. Let's see if you can wrap your head around this. What might be the name of a political suspense movie in which Mel Gibson utters the line, all right, who sold the Navy's emergency fuel reserves? Lethal Weapons for Hostages Affair, Mad Max Beyond Teapot Dome, Bird on a Tailhook Wire, or the Whitewater River? The Teapot Dome scandal occurred when President Warren G. Harding transferred naval oil reserves to the Department of the Interior, where they were essentially sold to a civilian businessman. But this movie will make money because Mel's gonna show his ass. You're up for...
We are liking this Howard Stern of yours.
How does $4,000 grab you? Hope you brought your suit. It's time to get wet. Suppose Howard Stern began his broadcasting career at Radio Free Europe. Considering Radio Free Europe's history, what would you most likely hear Howard say? I think that's rat fur on Hitler's upper lip. Here, get the Eiffel Tower out of your butt. Anarchists revolt naked. Or, ladies, I can see through that iron curtain.
How do you say, no?
Hey, got a minute? Take a look at a right answer. Radio Free Europe broadcasts news and commentary to countries behind the Iron Curtain.
Forget calling city Petrograd or Leningrad. Henceforth, it will be known as Fartmangrad.
Stick this in your tray gap. $2,000 for a correct answer. Let's rock. If China signs up for most favored nation status at Crazy Uncle Sam's House of World Trade, what incredible terms will it receive? For you, weapons anytime. No credit, no problem. No tax on imports. Or no nation will get a better deal. No, most favored nations pay taxes, although it's hard to check. I mean, you ever audit an entire country at once? The line at the copier is incredible. For the curious, here's the right answer. Most favored nation status just means no nation will be given better terms for trade. And with every 10,000 tons of grain exports, you'll receive this nifty starter jacket. One per customer, not good with any other offer. Coming at you. There are no small parts. $2,000 says you don't know this one. Just step up and take a swing at this one. What style of filmmaking would best describe the infamous... Go get it!
The lights are on, but nobody's home.
Hey, got a minute? Take a look at a right answer. Cinema verite, or cinema truth, is a style of filmmaking that presents films in a candid, realistic manner. And what's more candid and truthful than using the medium of video to show America what you're all about? Let's see what we got going. Watch it, you're stepping on Charo. And it's worth $2,000 if you get this one right. Put it in gear, 'cause here we go. Say you're nominated for a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. What screw-up would cost you your star? Never appearing in a movie or TV show, skipping the ceremony if you're alive, picking up garbage at the side of the road, or being dead? No, being dead won't cost you your star. Hell, it doesn't even keep you out of Diet Coke commercials. Should have picked this. If you're alive, you must guarantee that you'll attend the dedication ceremony. Hey, no problem. For some of these people, it's the first gig they've had in years. Is roll-on rules of life. And you pocket $2,000 if you get this one. Okay, we all know that Secret antiperspirant is strong enough for a man, but made for a woman, right? Well, if Secret were to release a deodorant made for female Chinese philosophers, what would be the most appropriate slogan? Strong enough for Agni, but made for Surya. Strong enough for Zeno, but made for Ilya. Strong enough for Zig, but made for Zag. Or strong enough for Yang, but made for Yin. In Chinese philosophy, yin is the feminine, yang is the masculine. What I want to know is, how could someone so at peace with themselves sweat so much? Well, looks like this category is wolves have feelings too. Play your cards right, you win $4,000. Hey, you know when Little Red Riding Hood catches the wolf in her grandmother's bed and says, "My, what big whatever you have"? Well, say that the big bad wolf takes Little Red Riding Hood's comments to heart. If he decides to have otoplasty, what will Red most likely say when she sees him next? "My, what a tiny forehead you have," "My, what tiny eyes you have," "My, what a tiny nose you have," or "My, what tiny ears you have"? Otoplasty is plastic surgery to reduce the size of the ears.
What? Speak up, I can't hear you. Damn it, I knew I should have just got my tummy tucked.
This one's called Dedicated to the One I Sired. And get this one right, you got 4K coming your way. Monday. Which kid's mama or papa is actually a member of the Mamas and the Papas? Carney Wilson, Mark Wahlberg, Mackenzie Phillips, or Joey Lawrence? Mark Wahlberg? No. But, have you seen Boogie Nights yet? Bet you wish you'd pick this. John Phillips, founder of the Mamas and the Papas, is also the father of Mackenzie Phillips from One Day at a Time. And here I always thought Schneider was the illegitimate love child of Mama Cass. Hello to the age-old battle between straw and wood. 4,000 big ones for a right answer here. Hey, remember the trees in The Wizard of Oz? Boy, were they sensitive. Remember how they started throwing apples when Scarecrow made fun of them? If the trees in The Wizard of Oz were also sensitive about losing their leaves, what could Scarecrow have yelled to piss them off even more? Conifer head? Hey, Baldy, must suck to be deciduous. Your mama was a perennial. Or, nice root rot. Trees that lose their leaves are called deciduous. Sure, the trees are sensitive about it, but Dorothy thinks it just makes them look more distinguished. Red tape on the grassy knoll. Get it right, I'm handing over 2K. As you know, some people think the conspiracy behind JFK's assassination began in his own government. If it were discovered that Kennedy was killed by a member of an agency he established, who would have been hiding on the grassy knoll that day? The Secretary of the Department of Energy, a Peace Corps volunteer, a Secret Service agent, or a National Endowment for the Arts recipient? JFK founded the Peace Corps as part of his New Frontier initiative before his assassination in November of 1963, as opposed to after. 3 weeks later, the Peace Corps sent a man named Oswald Ruby to teach math in Guyana. Coincidence? I think not. Shake hands with Roger Ebert Wiggles. How does $2,000 sound? Heads up, here it comes. Suppose Roger Ebert is so excited about a movie that he gives the thumbs up sign while wiggling his thumb from side to side. How has he just rated the movie in sign language? A 0, a 100%, a 10, or a turkey? Actually, surprisingly enough, there is no word for turkey in sign language. I guess if you want to convey the idea of a turkey, you just sign Ebert. In case you're wondering, when you give the thumbs up sign and then wiggle your thumb from side to side, you're saying 10 in sign language. And he tells Gene Siskel that whenever he flicks him off, he's really just saying, "You're number 1." Numbers known as French horns can't be president. $2,000 for a correct answer. Okay, we all know that the DC in Washington, D.C. stands for District of Columbia, which is, I don't know, it's like a state or something. If the DC in Washington, D.C. were treated like a musical notation, what might a touring Philharmonic do while on Capitol Hill? Play political scandals in a rapid tempo, play political scandals in a louder volume, sight read political scandals, or replay political scandals from the beginning? Now, if you want to sight read politics, read USA Today. It's pre-digested. Hey, got a minute? Take a look at a right answer. DC, short for da capo, means start over from the beginning.
This just in, the president drops his pants. Back right after this.
Mr. Sticky Buddy. Stick not included.
This just in, the president drops his pants.
Look now, it's question 11.
The category? More evidence of devolution in government. Get a right answer, you're walking away with $4,000. Hey, remember the Devo song Whip It? Yeah, I know, you probably played it this morning. Considering the main role a political whip plays, how would he or she whip it good in Washington, D.C.? Get party members into shape before votes, get straight on Supreme Court rulings, go forward with press conferences, or have senators move ahead with fundraisers? Well, depending on the ruling, being straight might be to your advantage, but that's beside the point. The correct answer is... A whip instructs other party members on what the party's official position is on legislation before a vote is taken.
All in favor?
Aye! Let's see what we got going. Lonely is the hunter. You get 4,000 clams for this one. Flex those fingers, 'cause here it comes. Suppose TV's Hunter invites his partner Dee Dee over for a romantic dinner. Because the dish's name translates to hunters, what would be the most appropriate meal for him to serve? Chicken cacciatore, pasta primavera, eggplant parmigiana, or pork fritters? Cacciatore means hunter in Italian, so chicken cacciatore means hunters or hunter style. I wonder if it'll be boneless. The chicken, not the date. A disease by any other name is from Mayberry. How does $4,000 grab you? Hope you brought your suit. It's time to get wet. Say Goober and Gomer Pyle have an uncle who suffers from the medical condition known as Graves' disease. What might be the best name for him? Gouda Pyle, Goiter Pyle, Gonorrhea Pyle, or Gooma Pyle? A common symptom of Graves' disease is toxic goiter. It's caused by a lack of iodine. It's cured by a trip out to the salt lick back behind the filling station. This category is, why General, you devil? Play your cards right, you win $4,000. Okay, General Colin Powell has all these people trying to get him to run for president, right? But what do we really know about this guy? If Colin Powell shows up at a big political function in mufti, how might the next day's headlines read? Gulf Commander can't decide. Retired soldier supports fur farming. Former general out of uniform. Or old Joint Chief of Staff smokes joint. When a military man is in civilian clothes, he's said to be in mufti. Just as long as when Colin's in mufti, he's not in a muumuu. You know, I hate it when generals aren't body conscious. Eddie Bauer is staring at me, and you pocket $2,000 if you get this one. Put it in gear, 'cause here we go. If you have a diastema, which of these stores might you think is constantly mocking you? Banana Republic, The Athlete's Foot, The Gap, or LL Bean? People with diastema have a gap in their teeth. And if I were you, I'd start stocking up on Gap socks to stick in that freaking huge gap between your teeth, freak. Wide and get ready for even more Columbo. Get it right, I'm handing over $2K. Heads up, here it comes. Suppose the next installment in the seemingly infinite series of Columbo specials is called Columbo Pro Bono. What scene would you probably see? Columbo declining a check for his services, Columbo cross-examining himself, Columbo is the dead body, or Columbo introducing photographic evidence? Pro bono is a legal term used when a lawyer accepts a case without pay. Now, Columbo Pro Bono could be a sign Columbo holds up at the next U2 concert. Of course, U2 tickets are hardly pro bono. Selection is, I know just what to buy Willard Scott. How does $2,000 sound? Okay, we've all heard of the Dodge Stratus and the Chrysler Cirrus, cars named after clouds. How dreary. Considering the type of cloud it is, what would be the most appropriate weather in which to drive a Plymouth Cumulus? Mostly sunny with high streaky clouds, cloudy with thunderstorms, partly sunny with large cotton-like clouds, or foggy with dark rolling clouds. You haven't the foggiest idea, do you? Cumulus clouds are the ones that look like big fluffy cotton balls. Of course, when I was 16, I inherited my grandpa's 1956 Plymouth, which provided special clouds for all the motorists behind me. I was big with the babes. With Tom Bradford for president! $2,000 for a correct answer. Flex those fingers, 'cause here it comes. Who would most likely star in a heartwarming family drama called Chicago 8 is Enough? Jane Fonda, Timothy Leary, Abby Hoffman, or Malcolm X? Timothy Leary, are you high? Should have picked this. Counterculture icon Abby Hoffman was one of the Chicago 8, the protesters arrested at the '68 Democratic Convention. And Tom Bradford married Abby after his first wife died, and the kids soon learned to love her. Him. Go by. Wolf Blitzer? I don't even wolf know her! And get this one right, you got 4K coming your way. Okay, for this next question, I want you to get down on all fours and howl. Which of these is not a Wolfgang? Peterson, Bach, Mozart, or Jack? No, Wolfgang Peterson directed In the Line of Fire and Das Boot. Ow! I don't know why I just did that. Here's what you should have picked. There's the famous radio personality Wolfman Jack, but not a Wolfgang Jack. Frankly, I don't care if he's a Wolfman or a Wolfgang, but if he pees on my couch, I'm going to kick his ass. Category is, verily, the prophet did appear at Barnes & Noble. 4,000 big ones for a right answer here. Hope you brought your suit. It's time to get wet. If the Quran were published like a celebrity bestseller, how would Muhammad's name appear on the cover? Ghostwritten by Muhammad, the story of Muhammad is told to Muhammad, or edited by Muhammad? The Quran is the direct word of Allah, meaning God, as told to his prophet Muhammad. And it's frustrating for the publisher because they could get the book on Leno if Allo would only do publicity appearances. The category? Storming the beaches of Indianapolis. Get a right answer, you're walking away with $4,000. Let's rock. Imagine that the Allied D-Day invasion of Normandy were retold as a TV show about a single mother in Indianapolis. Given what D-Day stands for, what should this show be called? One Dover Day at a time, one Day at a time, one Dwight Day at a time, or one Doomsday at a time? Doomsday. For the curious, here's the right answer. D-Day is a standard military abbreviation for a date of action, and the D stands simply for day. And in keeping with the military theme, the super character's name will be changed to Schneider Schneider. What's next? Please, allow me to demonstrate. Looks like you've jacked before. Commit this clue to memory. It'll save your life someday. It's like cats and dogs living together. Well, if they're domesticated, it's not that bad. Okay, good luck.
so I can go home early. God, are you lame?
Well, that's it. You've seen every question on both CDs now. Until we release another volume of the game, you're just going to have to deal with repeats. Kind of like math. So how many people are playing, Hawkeye? Thank you. Guess what time it is? Time to buy a new game. You've seen all the questions we've got. Now we're into reruns. You could buy a book. Oh, what the hell am I saying? How many people are playing?
And
empty scoreboard. You know what that means? You get to feel good about yourself until somebody else plays the game. Enter your handle, homeboy. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Hurry up or I'm gonna put it in for you. What's that smell? Oh, maybe it's you, poop face. Hey, if you want to play again, just give me the word and I'll set you up.
It's delicious.
Uber Nostrum tastes just like...
Nice one. You slid into an empty slot on the high scoreboard. Kind of like getting into college off the wait list. Enter your name, please. Come on, Pokey, it's just a name. If you don't have one, I'll provide one. Hey, you're certainly not under any obligation to play another game, but we do have everything all set up. If you want one, it would not be a problem, okay? Nice one. You managed to slide into an empty slot on the scoreboard. Enter your name and don't gloat. Either you put in a name or I pull one out of my hat. Have it your way, stubby. Hey, you want to play more trivia? I'm the man to see, all right? Let me know when you're ready.
Your life livable in ways you don't appreciate. We make sure the sun comes up every morning. We get your children to school safely, and we print the books they use.
You made it onto the high scoreboard, but if the board was full, things might have gone a little different, don't you think? Don't be smug, just enter your name. Hurry it up unless you want me to help you. Oh, by the way, I loved Roadhouse, Mr. Swayze. Hey, if you want to play another game or if you want to give us a break and let us go home and pretend we have lives, let me know. Honest, we'll do whatever you want to do. No problem.
Alien routine checkup. Let's listen to the hearing test.
Right?
You made it onto the high scoreboard, but it'll be different when it's actually totally full. Enter your name, champ, for now. Let's get it on, Holmes, or I'm going to do it for you. Ain't no hair off my back. I'm just going to call you Nozzle. Hey, I don't do this for everyone, just people who have just played the game. If you want to play again, let me know.
Are these?
Nice one. You slid into an empty slot on the high scoreboard. Kind of like getting into college off the wait list. Enter your name, please. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Hurry up or I'm going to put it in for you. All right, have it your way, macaroon. Hey, listen, if you want to play another game, just let me know when you're ready and I'll make sure that we're ready, okay?
What is this?
Nice one. You managed to slide into an empty slot on the scoreboard. Enter your name and don't gloat. Come on, Pokey, it's just a name. If you don't have one, I'll provide one. You know, back in the olden days, we used to call people like you Nimrod. I think it fits you well. Hey, if you want to play again, just let me know whenever you're ready, all right?
Ticking. If so,
you made it onto the high scoreboard, but if the board was full, things might have gone a little different, don't you think? Don't be smug, just enter your name. Either you put in a name or I pull one out of my hat. You want me to name you? Sure thing, jerkbait. Hey, if you enjoyed that game, there's plenty more where that came from, babe. Just let me know if you want to play again.
Tonight.
You made it onto the high scoreboard, but it'll be different when it's actually totally full. Enter your name, champ, for now. Hurry it up unless you want me to help you. You know, with your hair and your body, you remind me of a toothpick after I've eaten a steak. Hey, if you want to play again, just give me the word and I'll set you up. Nice one. You slid into an empty slot on the high scoreboard. Kind of like getting into college off the wait list. Enter your name, please. Let's get it on, Holmes, or I'm going to do it for you. Fine, you're just a barrel of laughs, aren't you, lampshade? Hey, you're certainly not under any obligation to play another game, but we do have everything all set up. If you want one, it would not be a problem, okay?
Trucks love dogs.
Alright, so you made it onto the high scoreboard. If you're so great, maybe you ought to try taking on, oh, I don't know, an opponent? Enter your name, please. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Hurry up or I'm gonna put it in for you. Not paying attention, huh? Pretty slick. Hey, you want to play more trivia? I'm the man to see, all right? Let me know when you're ready. Well, looky who made it onto the high scoreboard. I'll just call you a big shot into your Namerson. Come on, Pokey, it's just a name. If you don't have one, I'll provide one. You remind me of a spirochete. Look it up. I'll wait. Hey, if you want to play another game or if you want to give us a break and let us go home and pretend we have lives, let me know. Honest, we'll do whatever you want to do. No problem.
This week on...
Well, look who made it onto the high scoreboard. Nice job. Big whoop. Enter your name. Blah, blah, blah. Either you put in a name or I pull one out of my hat. Fine. If you're cool with being called bagpipes, I guess that's fine with me. Hey, I don't do this for everyone, just people who have just played the game. If you want to play again, let me know.
In ways you don't appreciate.
Nice job there, Johnny Trivia. You made it onto the high scoreboard. Why don't you enter your name? Hurry it up unless you want me to help you. Congratulations! You're going by I Cheated. Hey, listen, if you want to play another game, just let me know when you're ready and I'll make sure that we're ready, okay?
What is this sleeping?
Alright, so you made it onto the high scoreboard. If you're so great, maybe you ought to try taking on, oh, I don't know, an opponent? Enter your name, please. Let's get it on, Holmes, or I'm gonna do it for you. Maybe you need to brush up on your social skills, kumquat. Hey, if you want to play again, just let me know whenever you're ready, all right?
Designed to make working.
All right, so you made it onto the high scoreboard. If you're so great, maybe you ought to try taking on, oh, I don't know, an opponent? Enter your name, please. Hurry it up unless you want me to help you. Hey, the king of rock lives. Thanks for playing, Yanni. Hey, you want to play more trivia? I'm the man to see, all right? Let me know when you're ready.
Out of my face.
Well, looky who made it onto the high scoreboard. I'll just call you a big shot into your Namerson. Let's get it on, Holmes, or I'm gonna do it for you. Fine, if you're cool with being called bagpipes, I guess that's fine with me. Hey, if you want to play again, just let me know whenever you're ready, all right? Well, look who made it onto the high scoreboard. Nice job. Big whoop. End of your name. Blah, blah, blah. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Hurry up or I'm going to put it in for you. Have it your way, stubby. Hey, if you enjoyed that game, there's plenty more where that came from, babe. Just let me know if you want to play again.
Tonight.